This is the infamous ghost boss from Stickmanwar Season 1, and in this video I will be showing you how you can draw it yourself in 3 easy steps. To follow these steps exactly, you will need a pencil and an eraser as well as a black marker with a small tip. Now just before we start with step 1, leave a like and consider subscribing so you don't miss more of these tutorials. And trust me, there are a lot to come. Okay, let's start with step 1. Sketching. Take your pencil and sketch out a rough little circle anywhere on your paper. Just make sure there's some space below it. Then, imagine the circle would be a floating ball and you would throw a towel over it. How would it look like when it hangs down? Imagine those lines and sketch them out. And make sure they follow the surface of the ball when you draw them. When you're done, it should look like sort of a deformed rectangle. After that, you can start with the ghost's face. For that, draw a horizontal line across the middle of the ball and a vertical one exactly in the direction the ghost should look. Now to the face. The eyes, as usual, are shaped like 2 beans and should both be placed under the horizontal line and to the left and right of the vertical line. Then, on the vertical line, you can start drawing the ghost's mouth, which is more of a rounded upside down V shape. Now let's work on the outlines a little bit more. As you can see here, I extended the horizontal line a little bit, so I can use it as a reference point for this little overhanging cloth on the ghost's head. On the bottom part, don't just draw a straight line. Connect the 2 points with a squiggly line and then put some arches between each of the gaps. Now to probably the easiest part. Just draw 2 arms. They're pretty much just some rounded limbs. And put one on the front and one in the back. That's it. Just refining my sketch a little bit. You can obviously add whatever you want to it, but that's basically it. And that's why now it's time for step 2, inking. Inking, in my opinion, is always the best step. You will only draw over every line you like the most. And this is why we sketch first. It's so you can just draw as many lines as you want with a pencil and then draw over it with an actual inking pen. This makes the final drawing actually look much better than if you would just draw it with a pencil. Okay, once you're done coloring all the spots in, you can take your eraser and just erase all the pencil lines, so that only the clean black lines are left. Now, while step 2 is definitely the most fun, it's also the fastest, so we're done. So let's move on to step 3, coloring. Now the whole step of coloring can actually almost always be split into 2 parts. The first step is always laying the base color. But in this case, it's white, and since probably most of you are already drawing on white paper, you can skip this part. Next step. Remember these 3 lines that you just erased? You need to envision them in your head, take back out your pencil and draw along them. This is because we're now shading the ghost, so it looks more realistic and not that flat. But you need to be careful not making them too visible. Just really lightly use your pencil to make them slightly visible. Now, as soon as you're done with that, you can start lightly shading all the other parts of the ghost. When I shade in my head, I always just put the shades there where I think light can't get to that easily. That's the number one rule for shading. Okay, so if you have put your first little layer of shadows down, you can actually start placing more layers of shadows. Again, same as before, the places where the least light gets are usually the most dark places. So you can just see how I do this here in this example. I just go over all the places again and make certain parts darker while leaving other parts the same as before. So I've actually decided to add a little extra step. This is the second phase of this boss. So if you can remember, or if you have seen season 1 of Stickmanwar, the ghost boss at the end actually had a second phase, which is actually really easy to draw, because you just need to grab a blue pen of any kind and just surround the eyes and the whole body of the ghost so that it almost looks like it is glowing or electrically charged or something. Okay, and we're done now. Thank you so much for watching way up until the end. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like. If you want, write an idea for the next tutorial in the comments. Here are the other 2 tutorials that I already did, so if you like, check them out too. And yeah, that's it for me. See you in the next one.